Thank you. I've got a few things. So first and foremost, everybody sitting on this board had ample opportunity to forward their questions and suggestions for this presentation ahead of tonight to our board president. And if there were specific questions and data that you thought the presentation wasn't digging into, you had every opportunity to provide those questions ahead of time and did not. So to come here and blame everybody else since they were asking the wrong questions and they have the wrong data is extremely disingenuous. Secondly, I would be curious to know from Trustee Likui, since none of these potential explanations or theories that have been brainstormed and thought about for helping to explain these changes, what are your theories? What do you think the reason is that we have lower SAT scores this year?
Trustee Likui.
You're asking me why I think that our scores dipped so much farther and sharper than everyone else's?
Yeah, because you've minimized all the other explanations provided, so I assume you have some good ones.
Really? Do you think that it's my job as a board member to know that? Because I don't get
No, but that has not stopped you to this point, so go for it. You're the expert.
It's not my job as the board member to know why this happened. I'm relying on our staff to do the operations aspect of the district. I'm relying on them to analyze the data. Don't interrupt. I actually have not even gotten access to all of the information that they have. And I actually did submit a question to Mr. Russo ahead of this meeting, and I was asking—
Which he answered.
Trustee Gupta.
You've interrupted me multiple
please—
times. Don't go there. Finish your statement.
Once we get to slide 51, you'll see these different bands. And I asked a question about that. I wanted to see the breakdown of who scored 520 and below and who scored 530 and above, because that's actually the benchmark for proficiency. And we didn't get information that goes across those 4 different areas to be able to see.
But what does that have to do with my question? My question, right, because you're not answering the question I asked you. My question to you was, since none of these theories that were presented to you are meeting muster for you, what are your theories, since you've berated everybody around about how those are excuses and those aren't valid explanations? You must, you say it's not your job, but you're making it your job when you're critiquing everybody else doing the job. So what are your explanations, or are you just here to complain and berate?
No, I am here to do my job as a board member, which is to look at the high-level information that's presented to us and to ask the right questions so that we're narrowing in on what the problem might be, and so that we can better understand what our staff's ideas are for turning this around. They're the ones who get paid to do that job, and we haven't gotten to that aspect of the presentation yet. We actually haven't even gotten to the point where they're supposed to be talking about how they might change instruction to address what's going on with our SATs.
And
so we're going to have to see not all of the information.
I think that's a perfect point. Let's move on then.
Please stop interrupting me. We haven't even gotten to that point in the presentation.
Trustee Likui, so let's move there.
I can't hold my train of thought because too many board members on this board interrupt me whenever I try to speak.
Well, the solutions would be informed by the reasons for this.
Trustee Gupta, and I would ask the audience to please, we have said no outbursts.
I'm just trying to have a cohesive conversation here.
I am going to, one more warning.
Madam President,
if there is another outburst, whoever that was will be asked to leave the building.
Madam President, have a higher standard for the board than you do the crowd.
I have just asked both Trustee Likui and Trustee Gupta to move on.
You allowed Trustee Gupta to interrupt multiple times.
Trustee
Weaver,
Weaver,
have a higher standard for the board.
Trustee Weaver, I am having a higher standard right now. Please stop so we can continue with the presentation.